Hello, this is Subiksha, Rescue Manager at ARC. Today, we would like to explore how data from wildlife rescue centers can enhance conservation science. But before we get started, a little bit about us. ARC was established in 2016, and we cater to distressed urban wildlife in the city. And our primary objective is to help communities coexist with the wildlife around them, and we do this through rescue and rehab. In the past 9 years, we have rescued almost 45,000 plus animals belonging to 184 different species. And like you can see here, vast majority of them are birds, with more than 37,000 individuals rescued from 132 different species. So we wanted to understand what is the composition of birds that are coming into us. And as expected, raptors seem to form majority of the rescue groups, followed by passerines and corvids. But it's interesting to note that while the raptor numbers have actually been steadily increasing over the years, the percentage composition itself has come down and their place has been taken over by the corvids, which is understandable. We then dug a little deeper to see if any other interesting trends emerge, and our barn owl numbers have exploded. This makes sense because barn owls are adapting remarkably well to the changing cityscapes, and they're even nesting in these high-rise buildings. But as these animals are moving closer and closer to human presence, it's possible that they may be encountering more conflict scenarios, which is why they're coming into rehab settings. We wanted to understand, is this the same trend that smaller species of owls in Bangalore are following? And while spotted owlet showed a trend that's very similar to that of the barn owl, that was not the case with the scops owls. Is it because scops owls require more specific habitat? To confirm this, we brought in another woodland species, which is the mottled wood owl. And it's interesting to see that the trend was same as that of the scops owl, possibly suggesting that Bangalore seems to be supporting more mixed habitat species as opposed to species that have more specific habitat requirements. We then shifted our focus to see if there is any seasonal trends with migratory birds like the Indian pitta, and our data suggests that pittas seem to be migrating in highest numbers through our city in the month of October, and the birds that are arriving seem to be facing more threats as opposed to the birds that are departing. We also wanted to see, is there any shift in the departure or the arrival dates over the years? So we plotted the earliest and latest arrival and earliest and latest departure. While we didn't notice any trends with our arrival data, our departure data seems to suggest that these birds are departing later and later as the years go by. So it is possible that these birds are either spending a lot more time in their wintering grounds, or the birds that are departing later are the ones that are encountering more challenges along the way. We also then compared similar species, and red-whiskered bulbuls, as expected, seem to be thriving a lot better than their red-winged counterparts, and that is what we see out there as well. Where things got interesting was when we compared our tailor bird admissions to the Ashiprinia admissions. If you see, last year we have had 69 tailor birds coming in, whereas there have only been 9 Ashiprinias. Does this really mean that tailor birds are that many more in number in the wild? To confirm this, we compared our data to that of eBird, and that was not the case. The sightings are more or less the same, with tailor birds actually being slightly lesser. So it's possible that even within a given niche, there are a lot more tailor birds, or tailor birds are facing threats that are unique to their species that doesn't seem to be affecting the Ashiprinias. We also wanted to understand what is going on with the common water birds around. So we took pond herons, night herons, and cattle egrets. Pond heron, again, a staggering increase in the numbers we have been getting. That was not the case with night herons and cattle egrets. Night herons, it's understandable because they are more nocturnal species. So even if something is going on, it's possible that it's going unnoticed. But cattle egret, which is a generalist like the pond heron, we expected the trends to be similar to the pond herons, but that was not the case. So it's possible that pond herons might be facing certain species-specific stressors in the environment, and that is confirmed by our rehab data, because we do get periods of times where we get pond herons in clusters coming in with certain unidentified viral infections. Something to look into here. So at a higher level, we also wanted to compare our rescue data with the sightings reported in eBird for the corresponding species in Bangalore urban area, and we had some pretty interesting insights. We have had one unique species recorded in our rescue data, which has not been cited in eBird, which is the rufous-tailed rock thrush. And we actually had a note published in Indian Birds regarding this. Similar for the common tern as well. There has been one admission with us, and only two individuals have been recorded in Bangalore so far. And It's interesting to note that for more than 14 species of birds, the rescue numbers are more than 5% of the total sightings for that species, with Barnaul being, a surprising find for us. Our rescue numbers are almost 80% of the recorded sightings, but what came as a complete surprise for us was the yellow-legged button quails. We have had 64 unique admissions in our center, and there have only been 10 sightings in the wild. Is it because button quails are skulkers? Is that why they're not being spotted? So we brought in another skulker species, which is the rain quail, but that did not follow the same trend. So we hypothesized that these yellow-legged button quails that show local migration might be facing certain challenges, which is why they're coming into rescue centers at higher numbers. So, in a nutshell, there is a lot of rich, unexplored data with wildlife rescue centers, and this data could complement other data sets out there. And since rescue centers actually have the bird with them, that opens up the possibility for a lot of other studies and analysis. And this data is also hyper local micro data. So, that could help us come up with more targeted, regional, evidence based conservation frameworks. But that said, we understand this data comes with its own set of limitations. Since we are only looking at injured animals, there is a large data bias. This is also super urban centric, and there are resource constraints at the rehabilitation centers' ends. But this micro level rescue data, in conjunction with other macro data sets, can give us a better idea of what's actually happening out there, and we could come up with more comprehensive frameworks for bird conservation. And it would be great if researchers could also start including this data in their studies. Thank you.